Welcome to ForeverFit.tv, your online source for fitness, nutrition and lifestyle. With your host, Nicola Riley, personal trainer, nutrition and lifestyle coach, here to help you get in the best shape of your life.
Hey, welcome along to another episode of Forever Fit podcast. I'm Nicola Riley and I've had an awesome day today. Every day is an awesome day, but it's been a really cool day. I've filmed a workout, so we're just starting phase number 2 in the online gym. So everybody's just completed boot camp and they've had a week's recovery, and so now we're kicking off phase number 2 of training, which is going to be another 5-week block of training, and it's taking our fitness up to a whole new level. So I am out there filming, doing all the workouts, and it is awesome. And this morning's workout was no exception. It was wicked, and it was so cool to have it done. So it's tough workouts, but if you're just starting out with fitness, don't worry, because there's workouts in the online gym that are for all fitness levels. So you can start wherever your fitness is at. But the cool thing about this is that you get to train alongside everybody else and alongside me, and just know that you're not alone on your wellness journey and getting your body nice and fit. The other thing I've posted in the online gym as well is a year's calendar of what I have got planned up ahead for everybody, for online gym members. And because often you can kind of get confused and frustrated and you're like, okay, so what am I going to do this? Am I just going to have to keep training this hard forever? How do I know when I need to take recoveries? I don't want to be overtraining. And so what I've done is I've mapped out a year's worth of training, and for you to think of it kind of like as a professional athlete, they would have like pre-season training, then they would have some strength training, then they would build their training up where they're like peak performance in the competition zone, and then they would hit like a performance peak, and then they would come down and then they'd have a recovery time. And so this is called periodization, and this is where you are finding you're building your fitness, your strength up, and you're peaking, and then you're allowing your body to recover, to replenish, to rebuild, and you're going through those cycles again. So this is what I've mapped out. And so we're hitting phase number 2 of training, which is after our boot camp, and then you're going to have so that's 5 weeks. Then you'll have a week's recovery, and then you'll hit another 5-week block. And then after that, I am going to be doing an online yoga retreat for you. So this is where you're like off season, sort of chilling out. This is a spring clean, so it will be springtime in New Zealand, and this is where you're like replenishing, rejuvenating, recovering, chilling out, and just allowing that body to really rebuild itself. And then come September 22nd, we're going to have 2 weeks of pre-season boot camp. So this is going to be where you get to build up your fitness for 2 weeks, and then you will hit a 5-week block of boot camp. So that's heading right into Christmas time and into summer of this time of the world. So there's a big map out of everything that's got planned, and I'm really looking forward to this yoga retreat that I'm going to be creating. I'm just thinking of cool ways to make this awesome, and it's going to be something that you do in the comfort of your home, but it's a 21-day like reboot program, an opportunity for you just to recover and replenish. So before we get to that though, we're going to hit our peak performance and head through these two more phases of training, and then have that downtime. So that's pretty cool. New in the online gym, I've also got some posts all about your body temperature and your pulse, and how you can use these to know like how well your metabolism is working and how well your body is functioning. Because the more we learn to listen to our bodies, the more we understand what's going on, and the more we can understand how foods are working for us. And the cool thing about like your pulse, Sally Fallon actually talked about this in a podcast that I interviewed her a wee while back. And with your pulse, when you eat foods, if that food is causing any sort of inflammation in your body, it can increase your pulse rate. So even just using a simple thing like your pulse can be a really good way to find out whether or not a food's doing good things for you, or is causing the wrong reaction with you. And the other thing as well is with your metabolism, If it's working really well, then like your body temperature should be functioning at a good temperature, and so should your pulse rate. So I've got a whole lot of information in a post in the online gym talking all about your body temperature and your pulse and how you can use this to better understand your body and how it works. Because the thing is, every single day we're learning more about our bodies. As soon as you stop and think you know it all, that's when you're going to hit trouble. We don't know what we don't know, and if you're on a quest to find like the healthiest body that you want to live in, then you want to be constantly searching out for ways that you can get to know your body even more, because it truly is the most intelligent tool that you'll ever own. And the more you pay attention to it and the more you get to understand it, the more power to you, and that's very cool. And that kind of leads me on to a post that I've written today all about you are, and I've lost it. Where is it? It's all about you. That's what the post is that I've written. And this is something that can be really frustrating for some people, and they can get really confused because they're constantly thinking about they get really confused about what food is the right food to eat, what sort of diet's the right diet to follow, and they can just get really frustrated on who they should listen to and who's right and who's wrong, because there's no reason that you should listen to me over somebody else. It's all about gathering as much information as you possibly can so that you can learn how to listen to your body more. As soon as you stop learning, that's when you're going to get start to think that those are your only options, because like I said, we only know what we know, and if you want to get your body really healthy, then you want to get out there and learn things and not think that you know everything, because that's where you can fall into a trap, is where you just think that I know it, it's my body's just broken, that's just me, and I'm just somebody who's always tired, or I'm just somebody who's always grumpy, that's just me. Well, the truth is there's this huge amount of power that can come with just learning to understand situations. There's certain situations in your day that might make your blood sugars drop, and just by having the power of the right food can turn you into somebody who isn't a grumpy person or isn't a moody person, and it can transform the type of person that you are when you get to understand your body more, and when you get to understand how food plays a really important impact on your body. Because the only person that you should listen to is yourself, but you should gather information. You should gather the tools and the resources so that you can learn how to better understand yourself. But the thing is, you need to then start to be brutally honest with yourself at the same time. So too many of us live a life of feeling just average. And the problem with that is that, unfortunately, the feeling of average is almost considered quite a normal feeling. Like getting sick over winter and having allergies and feeling fatigued in the morning, it's quite a normal thing that, you don't have to go far to have somebody who feels that way also. What I want for you, though, is I want you to feel extraordinary. And there is such a big difference in waking up and having a day that feels fantastic versus having a day that's just average. And the food that you have, the exercise that you do, and the lifestyle that you lead can have a huge impact on how you make yourself feel extraordinary. And so this is what my goal is for you, and this is why I'm providing you with information so that you can just feel extraordinary each and every day, and so that you can kick the allergies, the colds, the flus, the moody behaviour, and you can start to set up strategies in your day so that you can bounce out of bed, so that you can feel energized, and you can put things in place so that you become motivated about your own life and about improving yourself. And in order to find this place, though, sometimes it takes a few really big decisions and some tough actions on yourself, and it may take some time for you to learn how to understand your own body. And so it may mean that the decisions that you need to take is that it's really important for me to get 8 to 9 hours sleep per night, because I know when I do that, I wake up and my next day is awesome. So how can you put strategies in place to do this? And this is where it might become tough, that you have to be quite hard on yourself, and that in order to get to sleep on time, So get to sleep by 10. You have to make sure that you are having your dinner nice and early so that your body's not, processing foods, because that stimulates you. And then you need to make sure that you are walking away from the TV, walking away from the computer at a specific time that suits you so that you're able to fall asleep. Then you might be putting routines in place so that you're able to allow yourself to wind down and relax, and so that you are getting that really good night's sleep. And if it's a situation where you might have like a newborn, or it's hard to get a good night's sleep, or you've got kids, then it's how can you make it work for you? So it's what can you start to change that is going to work for you, because you might be thinking it's all right for me to say that, but so don't put it on, start to just make changes on how you can start to change things and make it better for yourself, is what I'm trying to say. So it's about you, and it's not about me telling you what to do. It's just about, okay, so if you feel better getting really good night's sleep, what can you do in your life to change things so that you can get a really good night's sleep? What strategies can you put in place? It may also mean that you need to drink more really good quality water throughout your day and remove the caffeine and replace that for herbal teas. So that might take some courage for a few days or a few weeks, but that if it's important to you and you know that you don't do well off the caffeine, then that's what you might need to take the courage to do just that. And it may also mean that you need to remove the processed foods and finding foods that create magic energy inside you, that don't give you any digestive stress, and that leave you feeling fantastic. And this simple act might take some guts and some courage to go, okay, today's the day. And you might find that it creates a little bit of criticism from your friends, or it might find that it's quite hard at times, and you might find some social situations awkward. But here's the thing. If getting a good night's sleep and if making a choice on a meal makes you feel extraordinary, why on earth would you want to compromise that to feel average? This is where it's about you. Knowing what makes you feel incredible and what makes you feel awesome. And if it just means there's a few strategies that you have to put in place, so if you're going out for dinner to a person's place, that you just let them know, like, hey, I can't, you could put it nicely and just say, hey, can I help you out with dinner, because there's a couple of things that I can't eat, and you just let that person know ahead of time, so you're not hitting an awkward situation when you go out for dinner or you go around to somebody's place. Or sometimes if you're saying no to alcohol, sometimes it just takes a few no's, and as soon as you said like, no, I'm not really drinking too much these days, couple of situations like that, and then then generally most people will just leave it at that, and they just understand that that's you now. And so the thing to really understand is what's important to you and what makes you feel fantastic. And the more you get to understand what makes you feel fantastic, and the way food works for you, the way you balance your life, your exercise, your nutrition, and there will be days when you have had exceptional days, when you know that you have gotten everything right, you've got the day that feels awesome, and that you are feeling fantastic. And the best thing that you can do is start a food journal. And what I mean by this is that simply you have a diary that you have in your day, and you just simply write down, ate this, felt awesome. And so then the next day it's like, ate this, ate that, felt crap. Then it's like the next day, then you're like, ate this, and then you write down everything that you've been eating and just how that made you feel. And because then if you do that over a period of like 2 to 4 weeks, you've got this incredible pattern, and you're starting to create this real understanding of what creates an extraordinary, healthy, fit, energized day. And you get to really understand what foods are working for you. And so then what you start to do is you start to put those strategies in place today. Okay, when I wake up in the morning, I want to have a fantastic day ahead. So what do I need to eat? I can go back onto that month's worth of food and I can go, okay, this is what I ate this day and this made me feel awesome, so I'm going to go with that. And then you keep doing that day in and day out, and you start to find little things that you can do to make yourself more energized. How do you structure your plate? What food choices do you make? How much water do you drink? What time do you go to bed? How much sleep do you get? All these kind of things make a huge impact, and this is how you get to understand your body even more, and how you move away from feeling average and being part of the norm, and you start to create this extraordinary health. And so just getting over that moment of just being stuck in a rut and just going, okay, today I want to start to make a change. I want to really get to know what goes on with me and how to make my body feel awesome. So when you do this, it's about then going, okay, what do I want in this life of mine? Do I want to wake up feeling average every day, or do I want to wake up feeling extraordinary every day? The truth is, you are what you eat, but more importantly, you are what you're able to digest and absorb. So if you're eating rubbish food all the time, you're going to feel like rubbish. And if your digestive system isn't absorbing the nutrients, you're going to feel malnourished and lacking energy. Your food, you want your food to be the best quality food you can source and the right food for your body. And that is what's going to start to be fueling your body and making you feel awesome. And so this is where you start to tweak things. You learn to find out what foods make me feel fantastic. And you start to say yes to the foods that make you feel awesome. And you start to say no to the foods that make you feel average. And when you start to learn to listen to your body more, and you start to discover the right combination of foods, this is where you begin to feel amazing. And you get out of that diet rut, and you get out of the, I can't eat this, I'm going low this, high this, or I'm doing this 30-day crash, or whatever the next thing is. This is where you get out of that kind of situation, and you just start to live a life that's energized and motivated, and your food choices are about making you feel amazing instead of food choices around like the next this, whatever you've kind of read recently, or getting confused about things. So and we get all messed up into thinking that it could be the best thing to do in the world is paleo, or the best thing to do in the world is vegan, or the best thing in the world to do is low carb, or the best thing is high protein. And this is where it gets really confusing, and every single one of us is different. And so we've all got a different digestive system, history, stress levels, exercise. We've got different genes and genetic makeup. We've got different toxin levels in our body. Every single one of us is like a unique snowflake, and the more you appreciate that, and the more you get to learn how to understand your body, the more you can let go of the diets and start to make those right choices. And the best way, like I said, is through a food journal, and just simply writing down. It doesn't have to be all detailed and really complicated. It's just simply writing down breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack. I ate this. At the end of the day, it made me feel this. I woke up feeling slightly groggy. Could be because I ate too late last night. Or I woke up at 2 a.m. in the morning. Could be because I didn't have carbs in my dinner. Or vice versa. I woke up at 2 a.m. Could be because I had... or it could be because I had a herbal tea in my body. Need to go to the toilet. So you're just starting to find out what's right, because there is absolutely no one perfect diet, and it all depends on your body. So start a food diary. It's one of the most eye-opening things that you can do to really understand how you can create awesome health and feel fantastic. So food, the other thing as well is food has an almost immediate reaction in your body. It builds the cells you live in, and it also has a long-term reaction in your body. If the food isn't right for you, it doesn't necessarily show up as a digestive issue. It can show up with emotions, moods, joint aches, itchy skin problems, hormone issues, and they can all be affected by the food that you eat. So don't just think it has to be some sort of digestive stress. I know that if I have the wrong foods or too much the wrong foods, even because I started having some rice protein powder and my wrist started to ache, and when I was doing like prone side holds, I got the shooting ache. My arm and my joints of my fingers were really sore, and that was the only thing that I had changed. And so that's out. I know that that's no good for me because that was causing a reaction in my body, and that was making my joints sore. This is how you start to just tweak things, and that doesn't mean that that's forever. In 6 months' time, I might be able to reintroduce that again and see how my body reacts. But at the moment, I knew that that was causing me some joint pains. And so what food does when food isn't quite right, it causes inflammation in areas that could be prone to some sort of inflammation. And when you're eating a diet that's low inflammatory, those areas that could be a niggle, they generally don't get inflamed. And so this is where you can start to reduce inflammation in your body. So just understand that there's no real magic formula, but it's about finding out what foods work for you. And what food works for me is going to be different to you. And what food works for me 6 months ago is going to be different for me in another 6 months. So I'm constantly tweaking foods and learning how to understand my body, because my, a year and a half ago, I had really bad digestive tract and my hormones were all over the place. So that diet that I was eating then is different to a diet that I'm eating now. And it's very similar, but there were some little tweaks, and that was what my body needed at that time to bring things back into balance. And so we're constantly changing, evolving. We've got different stresses in our lives. If you're eating a diet about healing your digestive system and healing your gut, then it's going to be changing, and you're constantly just wanting to make sure that you're always just evaluating how it's going. It's like a business plan, like it's constantly just tweaking things, seeing how things are working. Is this going right for me? What can I do to improve this better? And it's the same with your fitness, and that's why I've got all those sorts of plans and things in the online gym. So I go into this a lot in the online gym, all about how to find out what sort of foods work for you and how to fine-tune your diet so that you're able to find that real health and you're able to learn how to listen to your body. So, and also this post here is on foreverfit.tv, where I talk all about feeling extraordinary and how you can just understand it's about you, and it's about constantly evolving and educating yourself and just finding the resources so that you can learn how to understand your body even more. Now, on that note, last week I talked all about the functional diagnostic lab test 205, which is all about your adrenals. And so I wanted to talk today a little bit more about some of the other tests that biohealth do and what they go into. And so one of the next tests that is generally on the line for with the FDN testing. So the first one is the biohealth 205, and this is the one that if there was only one test that you'd do, this is where you would start, and this is what gives you a whole lot of information about your body, your hormones, what's going on with the stress levels, cortisol rhythms, and that can kind of start to open up a window for us to find out exactly what's going on in your body. And then the next test that you would do is the biohealth 101. And as of 2 weeks ago, this biohealth 101 test is actually changing with the biohealth labs, and so this is actually going to be called something else, and we've been told that in 60 days that they're developing this test. So it's going to be changing, but it's going to include some of these things in it. So I'm just going to talk as if it was the old one, just so you know, but in the future, and you'll see on my site that it'll change slightly, this one here. But what this is about is this is a measure of your basic gut function through the metabolic pathways of your body. So we measure the indican lipid peroxides and the urinary bile acid sulfate, so UBAS, and this gives us a measure of how well you're digesting protein and whether or not there's any sort of oxidative stress by free radicals and getting a really good measure of the bioacid sulfates, and we get a really good understanding of how well your liver is working and ultimately how well your body is functioning, because how well your liver is working is going to affect your energy, your mood, your emotions, and how, like, if your liver's toxic and congested, this is going to affect a whole lot of things. So this is what this test is about. And so the endocrine measure that we get out of the test is a basic measure of protein digestion. And this measures the indole, which is a metabolic byproduct of the action of the intestinal bacteria on the amino acid tryptophan. And if someone has poor digestion from a compromised gastrointestinal dysfunction, it would start to lead to the root cause of other health issues. So poor gut function can compromise gut function, overall gut function, and protein digestion, and it can also, which can also be caused by like insufficient HCl production and insufficient digestive enzymes, food reactions. It could be from like a parasite infection, fungal infection, overgrowth of bacteria in the small intestine. So this is kind of giving us an understanding and just clues as to what's going on inside your body. The other thing that we get from this test as well is your lipid peroxides, and this is an index of the damage caused by free radicals in your body. So this is telling us how much oxidative stress is going on, and the membrane proteins and membrane lipids and cholesterol can be damaged due to like insufficient of the antioxidants that deal with this sort of stress within the body. So if you've got a whole lot of oxidative stress going on, this can affect other things as well. So the elevation of the lipid peroxides serves as a really good early warning of other oxidative stress in your body. So this sort of stress can result from too much exposure to toxins or pathogens or any sort of chemicals that you might be consuming through your food or through some environmental chemicals. It can be through like poor lifestyle, leading a poor lifestyle, or even excessive exercise and chronic sort of overtraining can lead to a high oxidative stress within your body. So we get this measure from this test as well. And the other thing that this one test measures is your urinary bile acid sulfates, so UBAS for slang, and this is a direct measure of your liver function. So elevated bioacid sulfates levels in the urine are associated with impaired liver function and some like cellular damage, and can lead to other diseases if you've got a constant congested liver. The compromised liver function leads to like the build-up of toxic substances that can damage cells and lead to an increased risk of other things like cancer and degenerative diseases. So this one test can give you a huge insight into like your metabolic pathways of your body, and if they're compromised, not working properly, and you're doing this kind of starts to find out more things that are going on and starting to find more healing opportunities for your body to get healthy, and working out whether or not what sort of protocols are going to be right for you to bring your body back into balance. So this is the second test that I recommend. So it's a BioHealth 205 to start with, and then you'd do this test to find out whether or not you are getting any oxidative stress, how well you're breaking down proteins and carbs, and how well your liver is functioning. Is it congested? Do we need to put some focus into there? And so this test is changing. They're going to include a lot of these things in it still, but they're also going to improve the overall and some different measures adding into that. So I'll do a podcast on that once we've been given more information, but in the meantime you kind of get to know what this basic BioHealth 101 is and what this test is about, and the next test that is available replacing this will be along the similar lines of this, of just understanding more about the body, the liver, the oxidative stress, and how we're breaking down like the metabolic pathways of the body. Then the last test that I recommend, so there's a top 3 tests that are the best ones to get a really good overall picture of the body, but it all does depend on your budget and how much you're wanting to spend and how much you're wanting to find out. So it always starts with the 205. Then we might discover that we want to find out what's going on with your liver, what's going on with other stresses in your body. And then this one here, if those two tests are telling us, okay, we really need to look further and look at the gut, then this is the one that's going to tell us a lot more as well. So this is a fantastic test. And the thing to understand is your digestive system is 80% of your immune system, and the health of your gut is going to affect your entire body. So your digestive health is really dependent on the mucosal barrier, and this is like your body's second skin. So this is your body's first line of defense against pathogen and foreign invaders that come in through your food and through the air that you breathe and any other toxins that you might be consuming. And the mucosal barrier is how your body deals with food antigens and how that may cause like sensitivities and allergies. So when you've got a really healthy mucosal lining, you've got it's involved with maintaining an optimal immune function, a normal healthy gut function, and proper digestion and assimilation of food and nutrients. So if you've got any sort of leaky gut or digestive problems, this is a fantastic test for you to do, because it's going to uncover what exactly is going on so that we can find the right sort of supplements and the healing protocol that your body's going to need. So your intestinal mucosa contains several immune antibodies, and these are known as immunoglobulins. So it's got your SIG-A, your IgA and IgG and IgM. IgA is your most abundant immunoglobulin and in the gut mucosa, and this measures the reactivity to specific food proteins. So a high or low reactivity correlates to potential damage in the mucosal barrier and an inflammatory response. If all your immunoglobulins are low through your test that you do, then this means that your mucosal barrier has basically shut down, and so your gut's not working optimally, you're not digesting foods, and you're not able to get the nutrients you need from your foods. So if you've got any sort of leaky gut or shut down gut, intestinal permeability, then you're going to feel fatigued, you're going to feel exhausted, and you're going to have reactions to foods that you shouldn't be having reactions to. So when you have a really healthy intestinal mucosa, you have a healthy body. Gut damage, however, is caused by a whole lot of different things. The first thing being food that you eat and food allergens, so eating foods that aren't right for your body and high inflammatory foods. Toxins cause damage to your gut lining. Stress is massive. This can cause, you don't have to go for it to know like how you get knots in your stomach and how your gut gets stressed when you are in an overwhelming situation. Processed foods can cause gut damage. Medication and drugs can cause like a compromised mucosal barrier, and they also really affect the good bacteria in your gut as well. Heavy metals, so any exposure to metals that you shouldn't be consuming, and this could be from all sorts of different situations can create heavy metal exposure. Gluten intolerance and an inadequate diet can cause stress on your gut as well. So our bodies are designed to handle stress, and our gut is one of the most quickest healing parts of our body to repair itself. However, constant repetitive exposure to certain foods and toxins will cause damage, and if you keep doing that over time, it's like just throwing a bat at a wounded leg. It's just constantly, you're never allowing that gut to heal. And this is why when you get the wrong kind, this is why as a kid you could generally most probably eat anything, but over time your body's just getting worn out and it can't put up with those sorts of foods anymore. So if you have food allergies or sensitivities, they generally show up because your gut is being damaged and you've got some dysfunction in your gut, and you're starting to get this heightened immune response to the food that you eat, and this leaky gut. So leaky gut's where you've got intestinal permeability, and you've got these tiny food particles slipping into your bloodstream and causing an inflammatory response in your body. And so this is where then your body's just it's not able to identify what foods are right and what foods are wrong, and you're getting all these symptoms like allergies and hay fever and skin problems because you've got this intestinal permeability and you're not able to digest the foods you're eating. So most common food allergies are things like wheat and gluten, corn, soy, dairy, eggs, nuts and seeds. And so generally if you're finding out you've got, through this test, you're going to start to find out what foods are right, and then this is where I'll work with you to find out exactly what's going on in your body, provide you with the right diet for you to follow so that you can start to heal your gut, bring it back to health, and start to bring that energy back into your body. So another reason for a damaged mucosal function is from the exposure to heavy metals and toxins, and this can commonly show up as like intestinal dysbiosis or a candida overgrowth, leaky gut, abdominal pain, or compromised immune function. And this test here will tell us if there's any sort of aerobic bacteria overgrowth, candida overgrowth, how well you are you getting an inflammatory response to foods. And so not only can like the inadequate diet cause damage to the gut, so too can the lack of stress and the wrong types of food for your body. So diets that lack the like tissue building proteins and fat soluble nutrients struggle to rebuild the intestinal function. And so this is why often like you might feel that you're doing everything right to heal your gut, but you're just not able to rebuild that tissue and get it back on track. And so this is why following a diet that's really healing and nourishing, and it's about rebuilding that gut lining, so providing the body with what it needs. So if you were to do this test and this test showed up that there was damage in the gut, a repair process would need to be put in place so that you start to bring your body back into balance. And it's all about just uncovering what goes on in your body and finding out what exactly is happening, and then providing the supplements that work for you. So it comes back to what I was talking about at the start. It's all about you, and these tests just give us more information about you and teach us what we need to be giving the body, providing the body, so that we aren't just guessing. We're testing, we're finding out exactly what's going on so that we can then be really specific with supplements, with food, and we can start to bring that body back so that you feel more energized, feel more motivated, and you're just starting to find that extraordinary health that you're after. And the thing to understand as well is that it's not an overnight process. Everybody is different, so it could take 6 months for one person, it could take a year for another, it could take 18 months to 2 years for somebody else. Depends on what the results uncover, it depends on how bad the damage is, and it depends on whether or not you want to use supplements, because you can do it with food, but the supplements then do provide that extra bit of support to help with the healing and help get that body back on track. So as part of like the healing process, it does always start with real food, and I am really, what's the word? Can't think of the word. I do want it to always come back to food, and I do think it's really important to get as much as you can from food. But unfortunately, when the body is slightly out of balance, or when you can't get enough nutrients, or if you're not absorbing your nutrients due to a damaged mucosal lining, this is where the supplements help with the healing and help to bring that energy back. So when you have got some damage, and the damage could have been caused a long time ago, and you've been eating an incredible diet up until now, but you're just not feeling awesome like you want to, this is where the supplements can come in. And our diet and our soil has changed, our food has changed since, like, in today's world. So it's really important just to understand that supplements can play a really powerful role, but it's not about just picking up supplements from an advert that you see. It's about finding supplements that work for you and getting really good high quality supplements that are going to make a difference. So you can improve your health with food alone, but in order to rebuild your adrenals, bring your cortisol back to normality, repair your gut lining, improve hormonal balance, because sometimes your hormones might need some support to help pull them back into balance, this is where you're going to need some supplements that provide some real targeted therapy and healing for the cells of your body and the organs in your systems, and some specific protocols to bring things back into balance. So if you've got a congested liver, then you might need to be doing some real specific things to help cleanse that and make it feel better. So the other thing to understand is that you have to find the right supplement for you. So your body and where it's been in its history, it needs more than just a multivitamin from the grocery store, and it needs really good quality. I'm not hooked up to any supplement companies, anything like that. I'm about finding the best supplements that your body needs, and I'll provide you with what you need and the types of things you need, and then you can make a really educated decision about where you get those from. Some supplements get marketed to us left, right and centre, and so does junk food, but the thing is to understand is that you want to make sure that it is really good quality and that it is exactly what your body needs, because there's no point just taking supplements. There's no point taking supplements if your body's digestive system's not working, because you're just putting in money in supplements and you're not even able to digest and absorb them. So getting the tests, getting to know exactly what's going on in your body, and then following the correct protocol to heal what we need to heal so that we're able to digest and absorb foods properly, and then getting the foods that your body needs. This is how you start to find that kind of health. So in order to achieve optimal health, we need to provide our body and cells with everything that they need to function properly. And so this is where those supplements come in, and this is where you don't want to compromise on just picking them up from the supermarket. You want to get a really good quality supplement that works. So the whole thing with FDN is that it's not about treating symptoms, and it's not about just putting a band-aid over a skin problem or taking something for some joint aches. It's about uncovering why you have these symptoms. It's about finding out what is causing those and how can I fix the cause so that I don't have these symptoms continually showing up. Symptoms are merely a signal from the body telling us that something is wrong. So instead of focusing on the symptoms, we want to identify and eliminate any hidden stresses in the body, restore the normal function to the cells, organs and systems in the body. And this is what FDN is all about, and this is why it's so powerful. And just learning to understand you and your body and what your body needs. So I mentioned in the last podcast how it all works, and it doesn't matter where in the world you are. The best test to start with is that biohealth 205, and that just gets sent out to you no matter where you are. You then pay the lab fees to biohealth, and then I get the results sent through to me personally, and then we make an appointment either on Skype or one-on-one depending where you live, and I set you up with a 90-day program that's all about your exercise, your nutrition, your sleep, your lifestyle, what supplements are going to be the right ones for you, and just give you exactly what's going on and set you up on a path so that you have a really clear direction of where you want to head. Then I keep checking in with you, and you can have that check-in as much as you want and keep providing you with information to help you feel better. And I want to see you find that extraordinary health, and it is a continual process. And so if you've got any questions about any of these 3 tests, don't hesitate to get in touch, because I'm mincing my words. It really is so powerful what the facts can do for you and how it can transform your health. And if it wasn't for these tests here, I wouldn't be feeling as good as I am feeling, and it has changed the way that I live my life, and that's why I want to share it with you, because it really is powerful, and how just learning to understand your body and what works for you. And like I said at the start, don't trust me, trust yourself, and just gather the resources and the education and the tools that you need so that you can learn to understand your body. And if you are somebody who keeps chasing symptoms and you're just not sure what's going on, then use the resources you've got in front of you to make those really good decisions about how you can feel more awesome. So, if you have got anything that you would like me to talk about on next week's episode, please don't hesitate to get in touch. Otherwise, I am about to go make myself a beautiful licorice tea. I've just picked this up from informaltea.co.nz, and they make this incredible detox tea. They've actually cooked up with Kim Remshaw, who's running the Smoothie Club. She's done a tea, and I have got a beautiful big pot of that I'm just going to go sip on. So a beautiful detox tea to help with the liver function, and it's quite perfect to finish off after talking about these two these tests that we've been doing. And I'm also doing a whole lot of new videos in the online gym. So as a member, you get that choice of filling out the nutrition and lifestyle questionnaire, and then you got all the information on how you can bring your scores down. So there's a whole really detailed questionnaire about you are what you eat, like you are when you eat, the timings of your meal, how well you are digesting foods, how well your detoxification's working, how your stress levels are, and your whole lifestyle. And then I've got all these tools and blogs in there to help you unravel your scores, because you get an automatic score update, and it shows a really cool graph on how well your body of areas that are highlighted that you need to bring some priority to. And so then you've got the information about how you can bring those scores down and help the body. And so this week I am got some videos to go with that, and just to make that whole process a whole lot easier. And so when you join up to the online gym, or when you do those questionnaires, it's just a really simple process, and you know exactly what you need to be doing. And then you know you've got the support if you need from me just by sending me an email, and I'll help you out. So that is what's new this week, along with awesome workouts and so many cool other things. So if you haven't already, make sure you sign up to the newsletter, where I share everything that's going on with Forever Fit, and also in the online gym. And check out all the new recipes too on foreverfit.tv. I've been getting out my camera and getting a bit creative. It's been lots of fun. So I will talk to you really soon. Ciao. The materials and content in this podcast are there to educate and to inform. It is no substitute for professional care by a doctor or other qualified medical professional. This podcast is provided on the understanding that it does not constitute medical or other professional advice or services. Instead, I encourage you to discuss your options with your healthcare provider who knows your condition and your health history. Guests who speak on this podcast express their own opinions, experience, and conclusions. Nicola Riley encourages you to make your own